everyone. Welcome to Homeschool Happy Hour. Melody here, mama of 4 in our blended family of 6. And I'm excited to talk to you today about resistant writers. Do you have a kid in your home that hates writing, that fights you every step of the way? If so, this video is for you. Let's take a look. Before we go any further, please take a second to hit that like button, subscribe to our channel. If you are new here, my name is Melody. I am the homeschool mom of 2 out of 4 of our kids, and I have been homeschooling now for 10 years. We're in our 10th year of homeschooling. My kids are currently 19, 16, 13, and 11, and we are working our way through our middle school and high school years. On this channel, I like to talk about all things homeschool, homeschool curriculum, homeschool life, sometimes a homeschool mom rant, and all under the umbrella of secular homeschooling, because we are a secular homeschooling family that just lives a secular lifestyle all around. Today, we're going to talk about resistant writers. Now, this is often a problem with really young homeschoolers, but can definitely span all ages. Let's get comfortable and have a quick chat about how we can deal with that. But make sure you stick around to the end of the video because I have this really cool thing that was sent to me in the mail that I wanted to share with you that you might be interested in, particularly for your older homeschoolers, maybe as a graduation gift or a birthday gift or something like that. Now, before we get there, let's define resistant writers. A resistant writer, in my mind, is a kiddo who just doesn't want to write. Either they're opposed to the physical act of writing, or they're opposed to storytelling. Maybe they just don't want to have anything to do with language arts, hopefully not, but specifically writing. First category, very young children. If you have a very young child, more often than not, the most resistant writers are boys more than girls. Now let's talk a little bit about why that is. Boys and girls develop different skills at different stages. This is not a good or a bad thing. It just is. We're all different people and we develop differently. That's not universal. It's not every boy or every girl, but generally speaking, girls tend to be more able and willing to sit still, to focus on a task at an earlier age. Boys tend to be more out there. Now, if you're the parent of a very young child and you're looking at putting them in public school, this might become more of a problem for you than if you're homeschooling. The beauty of homeschooling is that we can adapt to where our child is at. If they're going into a public school system, you might really struggle because the school's going to expect the same thing out of all of them based on their age, regardless of anything else. And so here are some approaches if you're homeschooling or if you're not going to be homeschooling that you can take with your very young children. Rule number 1, if your very young child does not want to write, don't make them. Don't make them do it. Do not start that war with them. Do not turn writing into a battleground. Do not force them to write. If they're in a preschool or kindergarten and their teacher is trying to force them to write, remember, you as the parent have the power. You have the ability to have a conversation with that teacher, that principal, or whoever you need to talk to and say, no, I'm not going to have my kid participating in forced writing. Now, I'm not saying you should ignore writing. I'm not saying that they don't ever have to figure it out. But there are so many things you can do that have nothing to do with sitting and writing specifically. Let's take a look. 5 awesome non-writing writing activities. All of these are fine motor skills. We have number 1, which is beading. You can take beads, take pipe cleaners, let your kids play with them, let your kids explore and do those. Number 2, using tweezers or like eyedroppers where you suck the water up and let the water out. These are going to develop the strength in their hands. Number 3, Play-Doh or bread dough. If you don't have Play-Doh and you make bread at home, let your kids help with bread. You're still developing the strength in their hands. Number 4, a fun one is shaving cream on a cookie sheet and let them draw in there. And number 5, drawing. They don't need to be writing words in order to be developing their fine motor skills, which will later turn into writing skills. So markers, crayons, pencils, pens, whatever material they want to use, let them draw pictures instead of focusing on writing words. All right, now once we're working on those fine motor skills, because those are important skills, let's talk about working on the cognitive skills. Telling stories, reading to your child, have your child tell you a different version of the ending, have your child change some things up in the story, or just retell the story back to you. One of the biggest challenges as our kids get older when it comes to writing is not so much their ability or inability to write words, it's the overwhelm that they feel when they're asked to come up with content to write. Because there's a very big difference between being able to write, as in if I give you this, can you copy it down exactly? And being able to write, as in can you come up with unique individual ideas and share them through words? Now, if you're wanting to help develop your child's confidence in that area from a very early age, storytelling, you can do popcorn stories like once upon a time there was an alien named Marvin. Yeah, Marvin the Martian. Zero creativity coming up in my brain right now. And he lived on the planet, and then your kid can tell you that next line of the story. You can write this down. You can just do it for fun while you're driving in the car. It doesn't have to be official. It doesn't have to be a big deal. You can be driving down the road and you see cows in the road, or not in the road, on the field next to the road, and you can make up a story together about those. Getting your child's imagination and creative thinking working can really translate well to later when they need to write something down. Even children at a later elementary, junior high level, as a substitute teacher, sometimes I go in there and I say, okay, this is your assignment from your teacher. For example, the other day we had one and they said, you're gonna rewrite the ending to the story. And half the kids in the classroom were like, well, but what do I say? And I'm like, you're going to use your imagination. You can make it up. It can be whatever you want. And there was a good portion of kids in there that were just like, deer in the headlights. You're not going to tell me exactly what to do. I don't know how to figure this out. And I just found that really sad. These kids have been working so hard for so long to give the right answer and do exactly what they're told. They aren't giving a lot of time for imaginative thinking and creativity. So offering your child that opportunity from a very young age can really help build that skill as they get older. Thinking outside of the box is important. If you have your child and they can write, that doesn't mean they have to write everything. We're moving along in age here. Let's talk about some older kids. So my youngest homeschooler is currently 11, and she loves to be creative. She loves to tell a story. But if I tell her to sit down and write a story, she's not going to want to do it. Now, sometimes she can type it. Sometimes she's 11, sometimes I'll type it or write it for her and we'll have it be a group activity. Now, some people will say, well, you shouldn't be doing this for them. Here's my argument. She can do it for herself, and at times she does. My priority in this is getting her to love the process of creating something that is her own, love telling a story and doing that creative thinking. It's not so important to me all the time that she's the one to write it or type it. I can do it with her. And when we're doing something together, she is more likely to want to participate. Now, focusing on what your kid is writing as they get older can be a big thing. Some people get really worried about, like, are they going to be able to write an essay? Are they going to be able to write a thesis paper in college? Are they going to be able to write these big things? They're going to have to write these someday. Maybe they will, maybe they won't. Things are changing all of the time. There's so many resources out there. I believe very firmly that our kids will learn what they need when they need it. If there's something that I have missed in our homeschool and they come across it as young adults, they know how to find the resources they need, ask for help, and figure it out. And then they have it because they figured it out, and now that they need it, they can use it. I would say focus more on let your children write what they want to write. Maybe get them a fancy journal, something they can be excited about that they can write in. And they can write whatever they want. They can write poems. You can have them write a grocery list for you if you're worried about writing. They can have their own little short story booklet. Magazines are often, like kids magazines or young adults magazines, often have great opportunities where you can write something and send it in. That can be really exciting. Bean particularly likes baking, so writing out a new recipe and having her do it with fancy handwriting. Drawing is always a good thing no matter what age they are. If they have the fine motor skills to draw nice pictures, then they can translate that into nice handwriting when they choose to. And let's be honest, I mean, in society today, how often are we writing out something versus typing? I mean, writing is almost like it's becoming a lost art. So stressing about, well, they don't have the most beautiful handwriting. Okay, that's probably never going to matter. It's probably never going to be a big deal. And if it's something that's important to them, they'll figure it out. If it's not important to them, it's like beating a dead horse. You can go and go and go and go, and to the point where they hate writing now, or you can just choose not to have that battle. Now, that being said, look at what I've got. Look at this. It doesn't look fancy, but it is so cool. This pen is like this heavy duty pen. It's got a cool little clicker where it clicks over and clicks back. And I had these, it even has its own box. I had Bastion send me one of their pens. They asked if I would share this pen with you. And I was like, I mean, I guess I'll share the pen with you. But I remember when I was a kid, my dad had his favorite pen. It was gold. So it was like his golden pen. Nobody else was to touch it. It was his. It was very special to him. He loved that pen. He would just get the ink refills. He always used it. I kind of thought it was a little bit silly until I got older. And then my husband now wants this pen for me because he's so excited about it. They make these high quality pens and they have all kinds of them to choose from. It comes in this cool little box. See, my pen even has its own fancy box. So I'm showing you this for a reason. It's totally related to what we're talking about. Number one, because I wanted to share it with you because they shared it with me. And it comes with an ink refill, but it's got its own little home in here. Got my own little home. But I was telling my kids about it because it came in the mail. And they're like, why? Because they're a little bit pricey. They're a lot of bit pricey, I'm not gonna lie. Why do you want this fancy pen? And I was like, well, I wasn't gonna get it, but they sent it to me. And then I was gonna share it with you guys because I got the pen out. They're like, what's the big deal? I was like, I don't know, it's just a pen. So I started writing and I was like, ooh, I like it. That's so cool. And I love writing with this pen. I don't know if I'm gonna give it to my husband. I told him he could have it when I got it, so I'll probably give it to him, but I kind of don't want to now because I really like it for myself. My point in this is something like this. Getting them their own special, unique, like this is your very cool writing tool. Now we're talking about older kids, obviously. I'm not gonna get a really super expensive pen for my kindergartner, but my high schooler, I can either do this as like a graduation gift. She happens to really enjoy writing, or as a birthday gift. And this is something that she would really appreciate. Next year will be her last year as a homeschooler, I think. So she'll be graduating next year-ish. I don't know, we'll talk about that later. But I was thinking that what a great graduation gift for her. But having something that you really value and enjoy to use as your tool when you're writing is a big deal. Now, if you are talking about your younger kids, like your kindergartners, your elementary school, taking your kid to the store and letting them pick out their own fancy pen, or having that pen set aside where, okay, we're gonna write this story now and you get to use it when you're writing, helps them sometimes to take pride in their work. And why not? Like, why not have something simple like that? Having a nice journal that they can have, or a nice pen that they can have. What great ways to encourage our kids to be more comfortable with writing and be excited about it at the same time. So if you have a resistant writer at home, make sure you drop a comment in the box below and let us know what you think. I have a coupon code. If you're interested in one of those pens, look down in my description box and there's a coupon code down there for you to get a discount on one of their very cool pens. If you have overcome resistant writer and you had an approach that I did not mention here, please let us know. Let's have a discussion about it. That is all I have for you today on resistant writers, and I will catch you next time.